of which your ABAP environment can be connected to Eclipse. Okay, and that's where your ABAP environment will come into picture, but because the person should be able to understand that language in order for us to do some activity in that thing. So if I just go over here and say I want to create some service, you would see that you are getting multiple options over here. You can create your own, I can say ABAP all cloud environment. Okay. And here you would see that as you are on the trial account, you will have a shared plan. Otherwise, you would have a particular plan, which is a paid plan per instance pay, or I can say pay as you go plan in your real account. Okay. And the runtime environment can be multiple things. So Cloud Foundry is the one which SAP highly recommends, because what is a runtime environment? You can think of runtime environment as your compiler, that anything that you are creating, anything that you are deploying, okay, while it is running on the live environment, are there any libraries? Are there any, I can say APIs which understand what that particular line is going to say? What is the meaning of it when you are sending a request? How the system should behave? So those all the things are being understood by the cloud, I can say runtime environment. Now there are multiple kind of runtime environment. Cloud Foundry is the one which is a recommended one, because all the SAP's native development relevant compiler APIs and everything are already pre-built. So be it a Node.js, be it a Java, be it a ABAP, all those things are already well understood by Cloud Foundry. So you are not required to write your own set of logic in order for you to do the communication with the client. But in the other one, for example, Kubernetes or Kaima, right? So these are the one which are open source technologies. It will come into picture while you are going with some sort of a hyperscaler kind of a thing, where you would have your own infrastructure, you would be preparing your own infrastructure, and you would be doing this stuff, and you would be required to write the logic in order for your code to get compiled, in order for it to get deployed and everything. There, other than the actual development activity, you have to focus on all those infrastructure terms as well. And that's where this runtime environment will come into picture. So most of the time, SAP, or I can say any of the SAP blogs or anything you suggest, till date, all the ABAP environment are only being done on Cloud Foundry. These are the options, but none of the projects, none of the actual standard development which are also being delivered are following any of this. They're also following Cloud Foundry only. Okay. And you can create your space over here. And the moment you go next, you would see that it will prompt you for your mail ID, and you have to provide your mail ID, and you would be able to create your account. So I'll just go and cancel this, because I remember I had created one instance. You can create such instance in trial account. I guess they do have only one. Okay. So if you see your platform, this ABAP SAP Business Application Studio is a subscription that you are subscribing for that particular software, and now you are going to use it for any development. Whereas this is an instance, I can create 5 different instances, and those 5 different instances would ultimately allow me setting my own workspace. So here, what you would do is you would create your own instance over here. And if you just go over here, the very first time you go in this particular instance, let's just say if you start following it, maybe I guess after this session, I guess I'll suggest start following this, because ultimately it would help you gain some confidence. Your first step should be, you should be subscribing for the ABAP environment. The moment you do that, your instance will get created. The moment it is in the status created, go over here. And here you would see something called a service key. This will be 0 by default while you are creating it for the very first time. Then you have to click on create. The moment you create it, it will ask you for the name. So for example, another key, that's what I'll just mention it as. Okay. And now I'll just say create. The moment you do that, it will create a service key which allows you to log in via your Eclipse, to connect your Eclipse into this. Okay. And the moment it is created, I'll show you like how it also looks like. If you just, yeah, for example, we just created this another key. If you just click on this, you would be able to see view and download. The moment you view this, you will be able to see that it is nothing but a way with the help of you, with the help of which your system can be authenticated. Okay, and that's why if you see the type, it's OAuth. It is connected to your account. What it is connected to? It's 666 6654A4, right? So what it is? So if you just close this, and if you just go in your overview of your account, ultimately each ID, I guess here maybe it is not showing that perfectly. But ultimately, it's the way with the help of which your account can be authenticated. Maybe it's not showing the detail. I'll just go over here. Let's just again view it. Okay. So here, yeah, here it is. This is the URL. Maybe I was focusing on the wrong URL at that point in time. Here, as you can see, it is allowing me to connect to my system, and the system ID is TRL. So as I mentioned, on on-premise system, there used to be a system ID called X1D, X1Q. Likewise, in your system, the system ID will be TRL, and how the system can be authenticated. And for that, if you see, this is the URL where it will be connected to. So this is my ID of my account, right? The account, if you would be remembering, 84CBD, right? So this particular global account, it will be going through. And I guess this was one of the discussion into our, I can say, a webinar as well, that how the system will be able to authenticate. So this is how the system is authenticating you using XSUAA based authentication. It does not allow anyone other than the one who is having this particular authentication, other than the person who is authorized. So if I just send this service key across to anyone else, no one would be able to log in till the time my service authentication token has not been generated from the valid account for which it was created. Okay. And here is the kind of a normal networking concept, the public key and private key, using which your account will be I can say authenticated using an instant secret. So all you have to do is you will just go over here and just say download. The moment you do this, your JSON key will be downloaded. Now you will be able to open it over here. Okay. And I'll just go over here. And for example, I created one account over here, I guess sometime back. I'll just try creating one more. I'll just click on the file. You have to create a project. So anything in the Eclipse based development is in the term of project. Okay. If you are not getting this option, okay, directly, because you may not have certain things installed on your system already, what you have to do is you have to go into this help section. You have to go into this help section over here. And in the help section, you would see something called install new software. So there are a couple of things. There are a couple of things. For you to start the development of ABAP using connecting to the BTP trial, your first thing should be install your Eclipse. Once you have Eclipse installed, your second thing will be ADT preparation. You have to install your ADT. You have to go over here and just say add. Okay, and you have to say tools.hana.onDemand. You can directly say this is the one, tools.hana.onDemand, and then you can say latest. It will ultimately allow you fetch the latest ABAP development tool relevant plugins, whichever are required in order for you to do ABAP relevant development into your Eclipse environment. So this is the URL that you would need, tools.hana.onDemand and the latest, and it will show all the packages which are not currently installed on your system. In case, for example, if you are installing 1.150 and tomorrow 1.151 is also popping in, you will get an option to upgrade it if you want. I do have already prerequisite, or I can say most of the software I need installed. So I won't be installing it, but it's like normal software installation. You can just select this next, 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 I agree and finish, and you would be able to install it. Okay. The moment you do have this, you would get one more option. I guess just a sec, someone is. The moment you go over here in the Windows, in the perspective. So earlier we were in help. Now you would go in Windows, in perspective, in open perspective, and here you would be able to open ABAP in other, saying ABAP. So this ABAP is something which ultimately allows you all the development which are relevant to ABAP. Earlier to ADT installation, you won't find this option. Once you are in ABAP, now in over here in new, you would find an option for creating ABAP project. So this ABAP project ideally connects to your SAP GUI system. It means your on-premise system. If you are on your cloud environment, like I was, right, you would have to create a web cloud project. And here, if you see in your BTP environment, you would have an option. Either you have an option, you can pass the URL, but the simplest way will be just use the service key we downloaded, use the service key, go next, and you have to either copy paste it or import it directly over here. And you would get an option, another key, for example, over here, open this. It will get all this particular required stuff it needs for it to be, I can say, authenticated. I'll just go next. And now you would have an option of copying the logon URL, but simple way will be open the logon page onto the browser. It will open the logon page and ask you to enter the user ID and password. As I had the environment open, it already got the credential. But if I would not have, system would ultimately prompt me for the user ID and password and all the stuff. Okay. So here I created my account as well. I'll just go next. And here you can create your project. So this particular project is not going to create any physical entity on your system. This project is just for you to prepare your environment into which you would like to do the development. Whatever object that you are going to develop going forward is going to be there in the cloud. But the project that you are going to create is just for you to see in your Eclipse. No one other than you will be able to see that. Even if you are on the same organization, same BTP platform, if anyone else is also trying to create the same account, he'll only see his and you would see your account. No one else will be able to see any other's account onto the Eclipse. Okay, that's the meaning of a workspace. You are preparing your working space. That is the meaning of workspace. So I guess it's taking a minute. Maybe let's just wait for a
So
minute.
a project is basically a workspace.
Project is nothing but a workspace. So you are creating
Oh,
your workspace, how you want to combine the objects and all the stuff. But inside the workspace, while you are doing the development, if you are assigning a project, assigning an object to a package, then that particular package will be created on the cloud. That particular object will be created in that particular central one, likewise. Okay, so I guess it's taking some time. Let's just wait. For the very first time, I guess it takes some time. Then I guess it's smooth. So I guess by the time this is getting created, just wanted to know few stuff from you guys. So have you guys also already have one BTP trial account? One and like what's the what is your background? Like, are you coming from ABAP or Fiori or let's just say CDS knowledge you guys do have? Like, what all knowledge do you have? So I just want to keep the
so
platform in a way that I can convey all the prerequisite that you need for this development activity.
so I do have a BTP account. I have done a little bit of normal ABAP development on Eclipse
Okay,
uh,
that's good.
on it. For as for me myself, I have
Sorry, I lost you.
experience. Hello, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah. Now I can. Yeah.
Yeah, I have more than 7 years of experience as an ABAP developer. And just recently, since the last 2 years, uh, I have been doing CDS uh, previously, but just recently I also got to do AMDP for a project. So
Okay, that's great.
yeah, I've done all that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Maybe anyone else would like to go for, I guess, Vikas.
Uh, yeah, Sumit. Actually, I'm working on ABAP and OData only.
ABAP
I
and
know
OData, the
CDS.
gateway one.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. The saddle exposure and all those stuff. Okay, yeah, understood. So okay, perfect. I guess CDS is something that I guess the basics of it is something that we are anyway going to start with. So definitely, I guess you would be on the same page very soon. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Welcome. Okay, next, maybe Amarnath, would you like to go next? I think I know you a bit, maybe
Yeah,
for the
I
team.
yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, of course. I have total 10 years of experience on ABAP environment. I just have basic knowledge on Word data services, but I didn't get chance to work on practical things like uh,
Mhm.
environment
Okay.
in our company.
Okay. Okay.
And
No worries.
still we are an on-premise system from ECC to S4
Mm.
2021.
Yeah, but I guess going forward, the statement I guess which SAP has released going forward, everyone will be on cloud soon. At least on the HANA soon, because SAP ECC is going to stop the support right in a couple of years. So yeah, we'll soon be on the same page. Thank you. I guess Meghna, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I'm a Fury developer. I mostly work on the UI projects only. Good knowledge of OData also, but not work for the development of OData
Hmm.
side. So I
No.
have 5 years of experience in Fury, and previous that I'm in the web technologies. There I have 10 plus experience.
Uh-huh.
I work
Okay.
from Java to web designing and all, and finally I moved to UI5.
Okay. So this workspace will be a kind of a daily stuff for you.
Yep, I work on that VTP platform, but now I'm on break. So
Mhm.
previously it was I work on the web ID.
Okay.
Hmm. So there are lots of changes now. Be nice look into this.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Welcome. Um, Dev, maybe Devendra, right?
Yeah, hello. Hi, Sumit.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hi.
yeah, I'm having overall 7.5 years of experience and working as SAP app developer. And prior to 1 year back, I got a chance to work on the OData and S4 on a serious use. But
Mhm.
nowadays, working as the ABAP support, the ABAP project only.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. Good to know that. Welcome, Dev. And yeah, I guess Pooja.
Yeah, hi Sumit. I have 6 to 7 years of experience as a ABAP, and currently I'm working on Greenfield implementation project, and I have worked on RISE-W interfaces, workflows, CDS views, mostly RISE-W and interfaces.
Kind of a
That's
PIPO and the now going forward CPI consultant.
yeah, IDOC and all.
Uh-huh.
So in my project, though it's a Greenfield implementation, but they are working on BTP. For BTP, they have a different team,
Mm-hmm.
but people are not aware of RAP on cloud and this. They're not using this.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely, I guess it
limit.
will be really useful.
Yes, yes.
Great. Okay, welcome. So I guess my first request to all of you will be just if you don't have the PDP trial account set up, please get it set up. Okay. And have at least the Eclipse environment also set up by using the same. Now, so I guess we do have the project in
Sumit,
a stable.
I have one query.
Yeah,
So
Meghna.
these files are saved in local environment also.
Which files?
Uh, Whatever we are doing.
No. So ultimately, it will be stored in the object repository centrally. So for example, these are all the shared resources, as I mentioned. Okay. So
Okay.
if you see, while you are creating an instance on the BTP, you choose an option of plant shared. It means whoever are on the same platform. For example, you are also creating the environment on the US East by AWS. If you are subscribing for that ABAP environment, if you search for the package which I am creating, you will also be able to see it. So it's not on the local, it's on the cloud.
Because previously when the UI5 development is on a Eclipse, there the files are on local, and then we have to develop using the that transport,
Understood.
I think.
So
So here,
ultimately,
how the files are getting deployed automatically? It's connected with the net.
yeah, so it's always connected with the net, and like what you are talking about is kind of a BAS workspace. So here, the whatever development we do till the time we don't push it on the Git, it will be my local one, right? No one else will be able to see that. But here, whatever development we are going to do is going to bind in a particular transport request, and that particular transport request is some. I guess it's getting bind to a transport request because we are going to assign it in a package. And those all the packages are already assigned to a cloud project. Okay, and that's the reason if you are also trying to check for that particular package on your system, you would also be able to see that particular development object which I am creating, provided you are also on the same provider, same region account over here. Okay.
Okay, and another question is, can we use VS also Visual Studio for this development? Because I
Uh,
think we are using Eclipse as a GUI.
So for VS Code, I guess for the I can say BT RAP relevant development, no, you won't be. For the CAP relevant development, you can CAP for Fury and for UFO, definitely you can go with a VS Code because it has all the relevant plugin that you need. For VS Code, I guess for RAP, as per what I know, VS Code has not a relevant plugins available till now because it does not understand the concept of a transport. So ABAP ideally works on a strict locking mode. Okay, ABAP works on a locking mechanism, which is supported in with the help of certain transport mechanism, and which is something which is not till date supported by VS Code and BAS. And that's the reason that you won't be able to use this. For this development, yeah, you can. For RAP, no, you cannot.
Okay, and one more question that is that as there are lots of changes in coming in cloud, so
Mhm.
as we are developing BAS using on cloud compiler, UI5, all coding is done. So, like same, can we do the ABAP development on cloud? Like, is the compile online compiler is available?
So these are online compiler only who is doing the trick over here. So if you see, we just connected to it, and how we authenticated is via the I can say cloud URL. Okay, so it just a particular there are two kind of tools. Okay, two kinds of plugins which are working parallelly in order for you to provide the development experience. Okay, so for example, the first environment who is doing the trick over here is the BTP. And there, if you see over here, you are getting authenticated on the cloud. So this is the URL onto which you are connected. And this is the API using which all the cloud relevant activities are being authenticated, are validated and everything. Okay, this is one thing. Another thing is the tools.hana.ondemand. Those are the plugin which are compatible and which are doing the, I can say, all the development, compilation and interpretation activity or for on-premise as well as on cloud. So if you see the ADT tool that we installed, tools.hana.ondemand/latest, right? So those particular ADT tools are cloud enabled. So you would feel as if you are doing the development on-premise, but the moment you start activating, registering those service will start appearing on cloud. And during that as well, whatever development that you are going to do is ultimately validated by the cloud environment by using these two plugins. One, the cloud API URL, which is on BTP, another tools.hana.ondemand. So these are the two things. And you are not going to do the any development on the on-premise in this particular BTP trial account. It fails because you are working offline. But the moment you disconnect, okay, for example, currently we are on Teams, but the moment you disconnect, you won't be able to use it. Earlier, you were on on-premise. So for example, if you are on Office, if you are connected to your intranet, even though you are not connected to your internet, you would be able to work because you are on the same server premise. But over here, you would not be able to do the development because you would need the internet. You won't be able to only work using intranet. Okay,
Okay.
that's a difference.
Yeah.
So I'll just finish it, and I guess a project should get created over here. And I can see, I guess one. Okay, I guess hi, Bhavna. I guess if I can see you. Yeah, I guess. Okay. I'll just start opening this. And here, as you can see, we do have a very nice project repository getting created. Now,